Welcome back. This week I've been hard at work adding a new enemy into my game, Tricky Little Thief. There are currently 3 different types of enemy in the game. We have the basic grunt, the captain, and the archer. Now I think some sort of shield enemy would fit into the game quite nicely and shouldn't be too difficult to implement. Surely I won't have to rewrite my entire hit detection system just for one enemy, right? Adding new enemies into the game is actually pretty easy. All of the enemies are pretty much made out of the same pieces. This means, to create a new enemy, all I need to do is drag and drop the components I have already created onto a blank enemy template. Then add any custom logic for that specific enemy. And just like that, you've got a brand new enemy. Of course, it's not always that simple, but you get the idea. Now let's start to create this new enemy. First, I started with a sketch of what I wanted the shield to look like. I decided on a large tower shield design, since I wanted the enemy to be completely protected from the front. Once I'm happy with the design, it's time to hop into Blender and actually model it. And after texturing using Substance Painter, we now have our finished shield, which turned out pretty good. And after a couple of new animations, it's time to put the pieces of our new enemy together. And here he is, our new enemy. At the moment, he just slowly follows the player around and tries his best to keep his shield in front of him. And as you can see here, the shield is working perfectly fine, stopping all incoming attacks. It's never easy, is it? So it turns out I've been doing hit detection wrong this entire time. At the moment, hit detection in my game works by checking if 2 collision areas are overlapping. If the arrow's collision is overlapping the enemy's hurt box, then the enemy will take damage. This works fine most of the time, however, this method of collision detection can be unreliable. If the projectile is moving fast enough, its collision can overlap multiple collisions at the same time, before the first collision has even been detected by the engine, which causes our enemy to take damage through his shield. After a bit of research, I discovered the solution to this problem is a technique known as Continuous Collision Detection, or CCD for short. For CCD, instead of relying on overlapping areas, we fire a raycast from the arrow's current position to its next predicted position between frames. If nothing stops the raycast, the arrow can continue to fly along its current path. If an object does block the raycast, however, we can call our function to stop the arrow before it travels any further. Sounds complicated, right? No, it's actually turned out to be pretty simple to implement, and as you can see, no matter how many times I shift the shield, the arrow never passes through. Problem solved. At the moment, when the enemy reaches the player, he doesn't really do anything, so let's give him the ability to attack. I've already made an attack state, so all I need to do is drag and drop that onto my enemy's state machine, set the range I want the enemy to attack from, make his unique attack animation, and now the enemy can attack. Now, for the final thing this week, I wanted to make defeating the enemies more satisfying. At the moment, when an enemy is defeated, they just emit this terrible smoke particle effect that has been in the project for far too long. It's definitely time for an upgrade. First I made it so when an enemy dies, they drop their weapons. I then made this low poly ball of smoke which will replace the old particles, and applied this toon shader that was created by a user called FireRabbit. And here are the new particles. I'm sure you'll agree that they are a massive improvement from the last ones. And finally, I finished them off by adding this popping sound effect. Much better. And that's it for this devlog. If you want to help support the project, head on over to Steam and add Tricky Little Thief to your wishlist. Thanks for watching. Until next time, goodbye.